The salvage ship Artemis, 7 drifted through the remains of a forgotten war zone. Broken cruisers, shattered hulls, silent debris fields stretching across empty space, like a graveyard with no names. Captain Jonah Vance had seen worse, but not by much. He was a human salvager, not military, not diplomatic, not important enough to be remembered by the galaxy. Just a man who collected what others abandoned. Sector scan complete. His AI chirped. Minimal salvage value detected. Jonah sighed. Still worth checking. Because that was what he did. He salvaged scrap. He salvaged memories. He salvaged things the galaxy decided were no longer useful. That's when he found the escape pod. Small. Damaged. Barely holding life support. No beacon. No identification. No rescue signal. Just silence. Jonah brought it aboard. Cut the seals. Opened it carefully. Inside was a child. Not human. Thin limbs. Pale blue skin marked with faint luminous scars. Large dark eyes trembling with exhaustion. An alien orphan. The boy didn't speak. Just stared. Like he expected to be thrown back into space. Jonah didn't say anything either. He simply knelt. Offered water. After a long pause. The child drank. That was the first agreement between them. Days passed. Then weeks. The boy stayed. Not because he was forced, but because no one came to take him away. Jonah gave him a name. Kale. It wasn't his real name. But Kale didn't correct him, because names were less important than survival. At first, Kale observed everything. Quiet. Careful. Learning. And what he learned confused him, because humans kept things. Everything. In his species, broken things were discarded immediately. If a tool stopped working, it was destroyed. If a structure collapsed, it was erased. If a being was damaged beyond function, it was forgotten. But humans were different. Kale noticed it first in the storage bay. Jonah had a box. Old. Metallic. Worn at the edges. Inside it were broken things. A cracked data chip. A scorched uniform. A shattered communication badge. Kale tilted his head. Why do you keep defective objects? Jonah paused. Looked at the box. Then at him. They're not defective, he said. They're memories. Kale didn't understand, so he watched more closely. He saw a broken music device on Jonah's desk. Still kept. Still repaired repeatedly. He saw a cracked photograph of a human crew smiling in front of a ship. Edges burned. Image faded. Still displayed. He saw empty boots in a corner. Cleaned every week. Never thrown away. Why not replace them? Kale asked one day. Jonah looked at him quietly. Because they belonged to people I cared about. Kale processed that. Slowly. In my world, he said, when something is broken, it is no longer useful. Jonah nodded. I know. A pause. Then Jonah added softly. That's the difference between surviving and remembering. Kale didn't respond, but something changed in him. Not understanding. Not yet. But curiosity. Then came the night of the storm. A spatial anomaly hit their sector. Electrical surges tore through the ship. Systems failed. Life support flickered. The Artemis, 7 shook violently. Kale was thrown against a wall. Injured. Bleeding. Weak. Jonah dragged him to the med bay. Emergency lights flashing. Stay awake, Jonah said firmly. Kale looked at him through blurred vision. I am damaged, he whispered. Jonah didn't hesitate. Yes. Kale's voice trembled. Then I will be discarded. Jonah froze. That sentence hit harder than the storm. No, Jonah said immediately. Kale blinked slowly. Confused. But I am no longer functional. Jonah stepped closer. Lowered himself to Kale's level. That's not how this works, he said. Kale's breathing was uneven. In my species, broken things are removed. Jonah shook his head. Then your species is wrong. Silence. Only alarms in the background. Jonah placed a hand gently on Kale's shoulder. We don't throw away broken things. A pause. We fix them. Another pause. And if we can't fix them, his voice softened. We keep them anyway. Kale stared at him. Something unfamiliar forming in his chest. Not fear. Not confusion. Something deeper. Why? He asked quietly. Jonah looked at the scattered med bay. At broken equipment. At damaged walls. at scars everywhere, then back at the boy. Because broken doesn't mean worthless, he said. It just means you've been through something. Cale's eyes trembled. Even me. Jonah nodded. Especially you. Days later, the ship stabilized. Repairs completed. Cale recovered slowly. But something had changed. He started asking questions. Not about survival. Not about escape. But about people. One day, he entered Jonah's storage room again. He looked at the broken items, more carefully this time. And then he asked, "Why do you not discard what is lost?" Jonah thought for a moment, then replied, "Because if something mattered once, that still matters." Cale was quiet for a long time. Then he spoke softly. "In my language, broken means ended." Jonah shook his head. "In ours, it means part of the story." That night, Cale sat alone for a long time, thinking about ships, about people, about himself, and for the first time, he didn't feel like waste. Weeks later, as the Artemis 7 prepared to dock at a human station, Cale stood at the doorway of Jonah's quarters, hesitating. Jonah noticed. "You okay?" he asked. Cale looked down, then asked quietly, "If I am broken?" He paused. "Will you still keep me?" Jonah didn't answer immediately. He just walked over, kneeled down, met his eyes. "You were never broken," he said. A pause. "But yes." Cale blinked. "Yes." Jonah smiled gently. "We keep family." And for the first time, Cale understood. Not logic, not biology, not survival. Something else. Belonging. And in that quiet moment, a salvage ship full of broken things became something else entirely. A home.